Chris from ctpoolender.com. This is some old black well pipe. It's poly pipe. What you need to do, a lot of the old in-ground swimming pools, you'll get stuck with this stuff. It's not very flexible. Tends to want to crack and get pinched up with rocks and stuff easy under the ground. A lot of times when you're redoing the plumbing, you'll end up with these things coming out at weird angles. They look disgusting. Backyard plumbing makes the yard look weird. Just what I like to do is adapt them to Schedule 40 PVC 1.5" pipe. And what you're going to need to do that is an insert barb fitting. I put a little glue on there earlier just so you can see those ridges. What that is, a little barb right there. That's going to stick into this pipe. We're going to clean it, cut it, melt it, put some glue on this so it'll seal on the inside, and then we'll use these 2 stainless steel clamps to lock it all down right into the nice semi-melted plastic. Then you can prime this up, prime your pipe, and you just adapt it from poly pipe to rigid Schedule 40 PVC. So what we're going to do first, we'll cut it, get ourselves a nice clean square edge. You can use a pipe cutter if you got one. $20 hacksaw from Home Depot or Lowe's, it's just as good. It's a little bit harder if you can. If you're doing this in the hole of the in-ground pool you're working on in the backyard, you might have to get yourself a wire saw or something like that if you're cutting in some weird places, nice tight spots. Otherwise, a bench vise would have been nice right now. Take a knife or this is a rigid from Home Depot. It goes up to 2 or 2.5 inch pipe. It's for deburring, reaming the edges. You just clean it up with the knife as best as possible. Then we got these. You're going to need to secure these once the pipe's melted. And the way I like to do it, you got one going one direction, one going the other direction. We slip them on. And what we'll do is you can use a slotted screwdriver. But what I like to do, you get a little better grip. 5/16 nut driver. This happens to be both. We use that. So what we're going to do here, slip that down, get them out of the way. You take yourself a nice rag, just clean it up. Make it look professional as best you can. And get a couple of those out of the way. Use that one. We're done with that. Get yourself a torch, a little butane. This one's MAP gas, works really fast. Gotta watch out though. You want to spin this thing while you're heating it. You won't see it in the video too well. What I'm doing is trying to rotate this while I'm heating it up, so you'll end up catching it on fire pretty quickly if you're not paying attention. It'll smoke, so you don't really want to be doing it outside, inside. Not that you're going to be, well, sometimes you might have a plumbing going to the basement or something, but it ain't the greatest thing in the world to be breathing. Right up. The MAP gas heats up a lot. It's meant for, soldering, silver solder and copper pipe. You're using it on plastic that it's probably melting around 160. Try not to overdo it here. Just clean up those edges. Alright. Now, I'm going to put some glue on the end of this fitting. Like I said, I put a little glue on there before and wiped it off just so you can see the ridges. Normally this would be clean. You can get these at the online plumbing supply. It's called a insert by socket, 1.5 inch, or some pool places call it the barb poly adapter. Now you're going to shove it in here. You might even hear it kind of cool down a little bit and singe, bubble the glue. And watch out, this is going to be hot, so I'm going to try not to touch it as much as possible. Just touch the stainless steel here. It is getting hot while I'm touching it, so I'm trying to work fast. It's best to wear gloves while you're doing this. Keep the glue off you. Alright. Now, tighten this up. Slide it right down. You want them just about touching each other. You want to get them tight so they kind of seal that plastic into those ridges, but at the same time, you're trying not to dig in so much. If you heat it up a lot, like this one got really overheated, you don't want to. You want to just let it cool down. You can take a cup of water or a 5-gallon bucket, drop it into it, start over. Or, you know, if it's under the ground, sticking out of the hole you're digging, just, you know, you can take a spray bottle or, like I said, a cup of water, throw it on it, cool it off, and start over again. If you screw up, try and leave yourself enough pipe so that if you screw up once, you can cut it, work yourself back like I just did here. Now, right in here, you got these little ridges. That's for the thread of the screw to tighten it up. If you see material like that, plastic material, kind of squeezing out through that, you might be a little hot. Just, all you got to do is relax, walk away 5 minutes, come back, tighten it up a little bit. If it's still really hot and squeezing out, take another 5 minutes, come back. If you throw water on it to cool it off, like I was saying before, if you're in the middle of a screw up, what you're going to do, you'll get them stuck in there and you'll end up prying them off with a screwdriver or wasting 2 perfectly good clamps. These things are about $2 a piece. Get yourself nice and tight. You can kind of see how, I don't know if you can see it that well on the video, but right here it's starting to really sink into the plastic, so I'm going to back off. You can see what I was saying right there. It's starting to come up through a little bit. So you know you're getting yourself a nice tight seal. You got double clamp, glue, and barbed on that melted plastic. This thing should be solid underground. If you want to test it, you can plug up the other end. Get a pass-through plug, Anderson leak detection or Anderson manufacturing. You can Google them. I'll try and put a link. You can get those, plug up the end, fill the pipe with water, and pressurize it. 10 or 15 psi for 5, 10, 20 minutes. Make sure it doesn't leak down. These are going to be under the ground. If they're not, you don't have to worry about it so much. You can go back and if you see some kind of leak, you can do a little bubbly soap test or just cut it out and start over. But when you're stubbed in the ground and you're going to bury back over it, you want to make sure this thing's going to be nice and sealed off properly.